No Fury Usyk, undisputed. Fans are disappointed. I'm disappointed, but what do you feel went wrong there, Bob?
Well, nothing really went wrong. I think what happened was the initial deal was easy to make, but there was no urgency on either fighter because the Saudis were talking about putting up really big money to get the fight done in November, December. And so I think that it was hard to keep the fight together under those circumstances because the money that they could make in Saudi, if it was real, was so many times more than what they would make for a big fight in the UK.
So it seems like in the court of public opinion, it's shifted towards it's Fury's fault that the fight didn't happen. With the demands, and Usyk said, okay, 70-30, even though a lot of people felt that's not fair, I'll take it. Everything thrown at Usyk, I'll take it, I'll take it. I guess, what would you make of fans mostly putting blame on him so that the fight didn't happen?
I don't think you put the blame on anybody. I think, you know, it's a business, and I can see where each fighter was coming from. So, again, I mean, I was involved in the middle of those negotiations, and I don't fault either fighter.
Are you confident we do see it, or is this like put a nail on the coffin of an undisputed fight between them two?
Well, you know, I think Usyk knows that he has to fight Frank's fighter Dubois, which isn't an easy fight, but Usyk should win. And I think Tyson might look to fight Joshua, depending on the result this Saturday, which is a big fight in the UK. And if they both win, I think they'll revisit the fight for late November, December.
How does that fight happen? Because it's the same stuff, like I guess a tale as old as time with boxing. You know, networks getting in the way, and Joshua's DAZN, Fury's with you guys, Top Rank and ESPN and BT Sport in England. How is that even possible that they could fight?
And they're very easy. I mean, everybody is. If there's a big fight and there's a lot of money involved, everybody is reasonable. I mean, the networks. That is not a problem, really. That's an excuse, but not a problem.
So then, like going back, like then why was it such a? Not saying the networks were a problem, but why was it such a problem to make the fight between Usyk and Fury then?
Because you're Usyk, and you can make, say, $15 million fighting Fury, which is a good number. But if you go another route and then you fight Fury in the winter in Saudi, you can make 50, 60 million. Now that's a big difference, right? So there's no real impetus to get the deal done because everybody is looking at the greener pastures.
So that's the real reason, was that? Is that they're waiting to get more money for Saudi. They're like, hey, we're not going to get the amount that we want in the UK. We'll just wait for the Saudi money.
If there was no Saudi possibility, we would have made this fight in 3 days. But that was always the cloud hovering over the negotiations. And you can't blame the fighters. You really can't.
Yeah, because the whole rematch clause came out, and they attributed like that's the reason why the fight fell through. Like that's not accurate then.
No, but it was all, in my opinion, based on the fact that there was this possibility of doing this big fight in Saudi Arabia in the winter. The Saudis weren't anxious to do the fight except in the winter because they're building a stadium for the fight. So, it is what it is. But I don't fault either fighter, and it'd be unfair to fault either one.
Finally, Bob, this will be my last thing. Benavidez beats Caleb Plant. I know you had a fight over the weekend with Ramirez and Sinisa Estrada, but there's been a lot of pressure now. I feel like Canelo's in a situation that he was with Golovkin, where pressure to fight David Benavidez. What do you make of that matchup if David Benavidez fights Canelo?
Well, I've always been a Benavidez fan. I think he's a very good fighter. And Canelo hasn't been as good lately as he was before. So I think that would be a very competitive match. Now, whether economically, so forth, it makes any sense, that's up to the fighters, neither of whom I promote. But certainly it would be an interesting match to see.
I said it was the last thing, but it just popped in my head. Andy Ruiz is a free agent. He posted a thing about fighting Tyson Fury. Is that a possibility at all?
Yeah, I think that as far as Tyson is concerned, he's going to fight again sometime in June, early July, in the UK. Now, it'll either be Joshua, but Andy Ruiz should contact us, and that would be a big fight in the UK.
I'd like to see that fight, and I think a lot of fans would like to see that fight. Bob, as always, it's always a pleasure to see you and to talk to you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Here with the chairman, Bob Arum, Marcos Villegas, Fight Up TV.